The night is quiet, but Wally West is restless. Linda wakes up gasping, haunted by a nightmare about the Pied Piper. Wally is there in an instant, comforting her, but something doesn't sit right. A thought lingers in the back of his mind. Something small, a detail he shouldn't even remember. A bee, just a single bee he saw earlier in the day. But Wally has learned that the smallest things can be clues or warnings. So he follows his instincts. A blur of lightning streaks across the city, and within seconds, he's in the lab of the world's smartest man, Michael Holt. Plot every location Grodd has hit, Wally demands. Holt hesitates but obeys. The data appears on the screen, and Wally's gut twists. 5 points. A hexagon. The most efficient shape for a lattice. There should be a 6th point. And now, Wally knows exactly where Grodd is going to be. The air hums with tension as Wally arrives. He's not alone. Hidden in the darkness, Grodd and his Askari warriors teleport onto the battlefield. But Wally is ready. A storm of Mr. Terrific's T-spheres swarms the enemy, each one carrying a precise dose of tranquilizer. The Askari collapse. Grodd does not. A low growl fills the air. And then, he moves. For the first time in his life, Wally West isn't the fastest thing on the battlefield. Grodd is nearly as fast as him, and he's gaining. Wally feels himself slipping, his vision warping, his body phasing into another dimension just for a second. And then, he remembers. The stillness told him something, a whisper in the back of his mind. Stop running. Wally stops. Grodd barrels toward him like a meteor, but just before impact, Wally glitches. Not by accident, on purpose. For a split second, he's in another dimension, and Grodd's claws pass straight through him. Wally's back. Grodd doesn't even have time to blink before Wally vanishes again, only to reappear inches from his face. The first punch lands like a sonic boom, then another, and another, every single hit from a different direction. Grodd doesn't have time to react, doesn't have time to breathe, until a piercing sound, a rip in the air. One of the Askari wasn't tranquilized, and now the sky is tearing open. 2 intersecting rifts have formed in Keystone City. They hover over a statue of Barry Allen, making it look like he has wings. Something is wrong. Wally and Mr. Terrific examine the rift, but the scientists around them violently argue. Some call it a speed force anomaly. Others say it's an impossible distortion of reality. Wally doesn't care for the details. He knows what it is. A warning. And when Max Mercury arrives, the truth is undeniable. Max syncs his aura with Wally's, and together they step into the unknown. They arrive in the Blobsphere, a realm outside of time. And yet, when they look up, they see Keystone City. Not gone, not erased, but warped. Then, a scream. The world shakes as something moves in the distance. A force of pure destruction, tearing through existence itself. It's coming straight for them. They shift realities, barely escaping, and land in a nightmare, a realm of the lingering dead. Wally sees them, shadows of the past, people he's lost. Some are just echoes. Some feel too real. Max panics. Wally hesitates, and then a new voice cuts through the air. Something ancient, laughing. And in an instant, the Askari warrior standing near them is crushed like a paper doll. Wally can't see who did it, but he can feel it. A presence, a force that has been watching him for a long, long time. The voice calls him by name. It mocks him. And then the world shatters. Wally and Max fall. Through realms, through nightmares. They hit the ground in a world filled with spider-like creatures the size of buildings. And waiting for them are other speedsters. Alien creatures. Trapped here, lost in time. And among them, a man unlike any Wally has seen before. The Caveman Flash. Before Wally can ask questions, they tell him one thing. A warning. Leave, while you still can. And if he wants to survive, he needs to find Inspector Pilgrim. But they never get the chance. The Uncoiled appear. Creatures with no faces, no voices, just emptiness. They chase. The speedsters run. But there's a problem. No one can feel the speed force. They're trapped. Max does the only thing he can. He gives his last ounce of energy to Wally to find help. And Wally is thrown out of reality. Into the void. There, in the emptiness, Wally meets him, a shadowed figure, the same one who mocked him before, and now they're alone. Wally knows who he is, Edwin Gauss, the Folded Man, and he's been waiting. But Wally doesn't play his game. He walks away, and in doing so, he steps into something impossible. A garden, a beautiful, endless garden, filled with statues of people from his life, his mother, his father, Barry, Linda, his kids, and for a moment, he forgets what he was doing, who he is, why he was running, and he sits and he stays until something sharp pokes him in the ribs, and just like that, he's back in reality. Impulse stands over him, holding a stick. "Where's Max?" he asks. Wally can't answer, because for the first time in his life, he doesn't want to run.